Hello and welcome to Now Dig This Podcast, episode 8. Today we have a special guest. We have Tom Cheshire in the building.
How are you?
I'm always good, man. I'm always good. Now, before we get into the interview, I have a question that's been like boggling my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What is up with you doing the hand thing when you perform?
As you know, it's a great question, and it's one that I don't really get that often. Like you'd think that I would get it often, and I've maybe been asked that like 3 times.
Yeah. But every time I see you perform, you're like doing this thing. It's like kiss the ring.
It's the furthest from that, and I never thought about that. Well, the reality, it comes from, as artists, we're just insecure, or at least I'll speak for myself, I'm insecure, you know, and I was never good at playing many instruments, even though I took guitar lessons as a boy, so I wasn't a very good guitar player, but I loved the art of storytelling and songwriting, and what happened was I realized my forte, you know, my strong points were fronting a band and singing songs, you know. So, but when you see a great artist performing a song and they're playing guitar, the hands are very busy. And it was me feeling so insecure that I had nothing to do with my hands. And so I kind of was trying to tell a story, and sometimes the hand was up and then sometimes it was out. And then what happens is, you know, we call these things muscle memory, whatever it is. You get so used to it, and it kind of became.
It became like you.
Yes, my persona, my personality, and also like my. Like when you're a kid and you have a blanket, it's like my safety blanket. So, like for instance, still, even though I've been performing on stage more than half my life, I still get insecure when I get on stage, and sometimes I'll have a hood on and my eyes closed or sunglasses on, and I'm kind of just standing there. But then 4 songs in or 3 songs in, I get comfortable, and that's when all of a sudden I'm able to stop doing it.
Yeah, I feel like it gives a really like a theatrical performance too. Yeah. You know, you just like have your hand like, you know, I love watching your shows. You know, I think of them of like, it's like a Phantom of the Opera show. It's like a theater. It touches your soul. It makes your soul jump out of your skin.
Well, that's lovely, and thank you. And it's also, I'm a big fan of all of that stuff. And theatrics where, like, for instance, you know, I grew up in New York City and loved so many different types of music. You know, some of it being early hip hop and storytelling. And I also love like old vaudeville, like, you know, basically Broadway performers or people put them on a performance telling a story, no wave. And some of my favorite performers were like storytellers or poets who also were almost doing, you know, acting out the words that they were saying. You know, like for instance, like I waited all night for you to call me. Well, that's when you go like this or whatever, you know. But the reality of it is or was now 25 years ago when I first started, was so insecure, and I see these guys behind me who are by far much more talented than I am. You know, at least that's what my brain is telling me. And I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm not going to do a Celine on air guitar. So let me do something creative. And it's happened to work.
When you do this, sometimes it feels like you are the puppet master.
Oh my goodness.
You know how you control the audience, kind of. With your music, you're like the puppet master. You know?
That's actually a lot. Yeah, that's cool too. Well, yeah, because also.
I mean, this is speaking from somebody not on stage. This is somebody speaking from, you know, watching you on stage. You know, like I feel like your music cultivates, you know, into like you turn your audience into, you know, into what you want them to hear.
Lovely, wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, it's storytelling, and it's also, you know, we've heard this for you know, 30 years or 20 years of, you know, like, you know, half the show is the band playing, but the other half of the show is the audience. And if you could help them get involved. I mean, I've had friends of mine or people I don't know do that back from the crowd.
I do that.
And that's awesome.
You know? When I say you do that, I'm doing that back.
I mean, it's a lot of fun. And, you know, listen, you know, we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time.
Right on.
I mean, so
let's start all the way from the beginning. So you were born in New York.
Yeah.
to I think you told me to immigrant parents.
Yeah, my mom came off the boat when she was 4 years old
From what?
South America, Chile.
From Chile. Nice.
And she went back and forth. As a matter of fact, my grandfather, her father, was named after Thomas Kirkwood. He was this famous Chilean sailor who traveled, most of his life, So at one point, I believe the understanding was her parents were a little nervous about her getting too Americanized, so they sent her back to Chile. And so she spent, many years back in Chile, kind of, growing up the way they wanted her to. But then I believe she moved back in her teens, and then not too long after that, I guess, met my dad, married him, Frank, and the rest is history.
Right.
But yeah.
And where's your dad from?
Generations go back.
Yeah.
Queens, New York, but Cheshire is a British last name, so
Okay.
it does go back to England,
Yeah.
But New York through and through. And really lucky time to grow up there.
And when did you move to Atlanta?
Okay, so I was in New York as a boy in the 70s and 80s, and that was an amazing time to grow up, going to like the East Village.
Yeah. I always watch documentaries about the 70s and 80s in New York. I mean, they kind of look a little grimy, but it seemed like everybody enjoyed those times.
Yeah, and there's that open-mindedness of like everyone's a different color, ethnicity, religion,
Big melting pot.
People weren't, they were friendly to each other, which was really lovely, But my dad's mom took a job with Bella South. That was like, I guess, the company that worked for back in the day. So we didn't have much money. So our one vacation, like every year, was we drove to Atlanta and spent like a week with her.
Oh, nice.
So eventually my parents moved to Atlanta. I stayed in New York. And then I finally moved to Atlanta in like 92, 93. And luckily for me, I've been playing with some of my best friends, on stage, and hanging out with them off stage ever since then.
No, so you said you moved here in 92, 93.
Yeah.
Now, I did my little bit of research about you and stuff like that, and one of the things I read is back in 92, 93, you and a good friend of yours he wasn't a friend of yours at this time, but you met him through panhandling.
Okay. Well, that's really funny. Well, as artists, we create stories, or we take are some truths and then we elaborate to make it a little better. So vaudeville, I do love. I love the whole idea of the stage presence, putting on the show. So I definitely jumped in, hopped some trains, and I did street performance.
Right.
So I don't know if I ever actually went up to a stranger and asked for money, but I have like some songs and danced and got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But that's close.
And that
it sounds great in a story.
That friend that we were talking about, who's that?
Well, I believe that was written about Behinds, Brad Hines.
And he was. So you guys started a band.
Well, yeah. So what happened was my first band, that kind of was doing well, was a band called Rent Boys. And
what is it?
Rent Boys.
English
slang for male prostitute. And very
I've never heard of one being called for male prostitute.
Yeah. And it's,
what is that, British?
Yeah, it's a slang term for a kid who hangs out in alleys in England and
sells himself.
That's like perverted businessman paying $20 just to watch him piss or whatever. That's the reality of it.
So the Red Boys.
Yeah.
So you went behind.
Well, no, it was me and Marlo Sanchez, Mike Bruce, Mike Sheena, B. Kinch, Dwayne Halstead, but Marlo and Mike, and Brian, those guys I've played with now for so many years.
Yeah, shout out to all those guys.
All those guys, best friends ever. And Brett had a band called Feet Without Face, who we still do stuff with today, and we love them. And Brett and I became just great friends, best friends, and like I was with all those other guys. And so we would always have them play with us. And I, would say, hey, let me go on the road with you.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was the worst roadie. But I'd go on the road with him.
But you learned a lot.
Yes. And then late nights turned to early mornings, and I'm banging on a piano. And I love Tom Waits, who talk about that vaudeville performance and dance like The Clash. And he loves, like Frank Zappa. And so that's what I kind of always say how these things started. It's like, so late nights, early mornings, I'm banging on a piano, kind of singing a song, a poem that becomes a song. And you know, Brent was like, what's that? And I was like, I got this idea of us performing these weird poems that become musicals called Western Motel. And the whole idea was I wanted to call Western Motel.
So that's how y'all started Western Motel.
Yeah. And I was like,
so what year did y'all start?
The whole idea behind it was in the 90s. Because we had a warehouse. It was like.
So did y'all come up with the name just West End Motel?
I came up with the name.
Or did you just stay at a West End Motel?
No, well, I came up with the name because we had a warehouse like 8,000 square feet in the West End, and it was, we were living in squalor. We had nothing, but there we had, we put a pool, like a stand-up pool. We put a skate ramp.
That's cool.
We made our own t-shirts, we recorded, and I was like, this is the conglomerate that we were talking about earlier. And it's like,
I would love to have that nowadays.
Yes, me too. And it was a playground. And I was like, this is the West End Motel. I'm staying in the West End Motel. And the other idea was like one night you could have a 10-piece band behind you, but the next night it could be 4 guys and there's different guests staying in the motel performing on stage with you.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's what makes me think, and I'm a big fan of that still to this day. Even what I do with TCB, it's like one playing with your best friends. To enjoy and have a conglomerate where it has this umbrella that covers so many areas.
So back when y'all were doing everything at the warehouse at the West End Motel.
Exactly.
Did you guys start recording West End?
No.
Did y'all get like
So Rent Boys certainly recorded professionally, and then when Rent Boys broke up, I formed a band with Marlo and. Shout out Lloyd, Kelsey, Ben Thrower, Blake, Craney. We formed a band very similar. And when I mean that, I mean it's like pub rock meets rock and roll meets punk rock. Like bands like the Clash, All Night Drug Prowling Wolves. All Night Drug Prowling Wolves.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun.
Which is very funny because
that sounds like a fun.
Well, it's the last line of a Clash song, but your kids don't know that. And that's the funny thing. Like Marlon has said, he's like, don't let your kids Google your band names like Rent Boys, No Prostitute, All Night Drug Prowling Wolves. And so All Night Drug Prowling.
But this is before Google.
Right. Exactly. And we recorded professionally, and then what happened was a gentleman by the name of Kurt Wells, who is an old friend and a super talented and interesting guy and producer, musician, artist, and technician. He would come by and see me, and he really, again, going back to insecurities, he was like, you're a great storyteller. You got all these other things, this other side of you need to record. And he was like, I have a small studio. And it was behind Elmira, which is now Diamond Street Studios. And we went in there, and Brett and I recorded.
In Little 5 Points.
Yes, in Little 5 Points. Which, funny enough, a gentleman by the name of Tom, who's the band The Brains, had that building, and he wrote the song Money Changes Everything that Cyndi Lauper made famous. Interesting, very cool, what do you call weird facts. So, see, look, 5 minutes in, now I feel comfortable. Now
we're puppet master.
First 5 minutes, I've been a little nervous, But Kurt really gave me this boost, and he was like, you should record these other songs. And so I had the name Western Motel for years, and more than anything, it was like a conglomerate, a gang, this umbrella. And so that was in early 2000s, and I think Brett and I recorded like 30 songs. And some
did y'all release all of them?
No.
You still have all these songs?
Yeah, some of them went out on a 7-inch that Chad Radford put out on Ponce de Leon Records, and then that led to us going into better studios, recording an album called Don't Shiver, You're a Winner.
With what band?
That was with West End Motel. And then the band grew.
Don't Shiver, You're a Winner.
Don't Shiver, You're a Winner.
I like that.
Which is a line from, you're a big documentary guy. I'm a huge fan of Werner Herzog, a hero of mine. And that's a line, and I believe it's, gosh, put my glasses back on. I believe it's Harmony Korine's, maybe it's Julian Donkey Boy. It's not Gummo. Maybe Julian Donkey Boy. When Werner Herzog's spraying this little kid with a hose, he's just like in his bathing suit, and the kid's freezing, and he's like, Werner's amazing, beautiful voice. He's like, don't shiver, you're a winner. Don't shiver, you're a winner. And he's spraying this kid with this freezing cold water. Hose. So that record, and the other thing
that makes you man up.
Right. And the other thing I forgot to say is the original Western Motel was literally Brent Hines on acoustic guitar, me banging on a piano and playing a bucket for drums.
Yeah.
So then the band grew, and Stiff Penalty started playing upright bass, and Ben Thrower joined, Mike Shea from Rent Boys joined, and we had so many different people, and then the band really became that Tom Waits vaudeville band,
right.
you know. And so then after Don't Sugar, You're a Winner.
So that was a full length album?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
how many songs was on it?
That was 8 songs.
8 songs.
And then the next record was the record Only Time Can Tell that we did for Warner Brothers.
Okay. So tell me about that whole Warner Brothers deal. So tell me, like, because I'm kind of lost, you know. I was reading a little bit here and there, but the thing with record labels, you know, there's so much stuff going behind the scenes and going in with the corporation of it and the business side of it that nobody really understands what the label actually did for you, does for you, or contributed to you, or like how did all that work out? How did you even get the meeting with?
I'm still not understanding any of it.
Yeah,
that's why I'm here to push independent music and independent shows. I'm a big fan of Now Dig This.
Thank you,
love
sir.
you guys. So thank you for having me, and you guys are so rad and doing very cool things.
What year was this, first of all?
2010, it started the negotiations.
So 15 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
And I think the record came out in 2012, you know, but we 100% got the record, you know, deal because of Brent being in Mastodon, you know.
So this is before, so this is before Brent became Mastodon?
No, he was already, because he was doing so well with Mastodon. I think he was able to leverage and say, hey,
I have this band over here that's doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, not too different than someone like, you know, Mike Patton and Faith No More singing, I Want to Put Out my Mr. Bumble Out.
So Brent was on West End Motel first?
Yes.
And he got...
I mean, Brent's bands, Western Motel and Female Face, you know, he was doing that stuff. He's always been this artist and wild musician, so he was doing that even before Mastodon. And then Mastodon got big, you know. So he was able to say, hey, you know, I want to put my other band out.
And you were the singer for the band?
Yes. We both, you know, me, him, and Mike wrote most of the songs. But then we had, like I said, Stiff Penalty, great players. Shout out to Will Raines and his dad, Phil Raines. And Mark Carbone, and
all right. Before we jump around too much, let's go back to the record. So how did the Warner Brothers deal?
The record kind of just you know, we get the okay and we put it out.
How much money did they give you? Did they give you an advance or anything? No advance, nothing.
Nothing. So we.
So why did y'all even sign?
It was still very much an independent release, and we were hoping to get money on the back end. Now, I will say this: I had gone through a divorce, and I was living in New York, and I remember like walking around with my girlfriend at the time, and like it was pretty cool to walk in the store and see.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, see the record.
Especially in those days, you have the record stores. You have your towers.
Yes. I mean,
Circuit City.
I mean, it was pissing out raining one day, and we were walking in, and we passed by like I don't know was it like it wasn't a Blockbuster, but it was like it was definitely like, I mean it was
a music store.
It was a music store. And I'm like, let's just go see. And sure enough, seeing that was cool. And then
did you buy it?
I did buy it.
Nice.
Yeah, of course. You know, I probably did that a few times, and then sent it to family members.
Right.
And then, so the good things that happen is that's love. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then
because I mean they distributed it at least. So do you know how many copies they made out there?
No. I've heard very low.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is and then seeing reviews like in Rolling Stone magazine, good reviews, and Spin magazine, and
that's really good.
Because I mean, to this day, still I'm a nerd. Like
that's a decent market to get on Rolling Stone is a big
deal. And to this day, I'm still a nerd. I wake up in the morning, have my coffee, like you know, work out, lay back down, and I look up like Pitchfork and I look up music magazines. What's the new record out this week? I should check it out. You know, like I'm a nerd about that.
Right.
You know? So that was very cool. Whatever. Beyond that, they didn't do that much. I mean, to be honest with you, like we were like, listen, you know, you got bands on this label who are fans of ours, like you know, Flame Lips or we, or whatever. Let's go out on the road for them, making no money. We'll do the work in a year. That would be huge. And instead, they set us out like 2 headline tours on our own. You know, so like maybe in New York and LA, you're playing in front of a few hundred people, but in between there, you're playing in front of like two chubby kids on a Tuesday night.
I mean, that's how it is
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's
But
rough.
I mean, you still got to work that record, and you still have to do what you have to
We
do.
do.
So, did you guys get dropped off the label?
Well, I believe,
you guys-
I believe it was one record anyway.
Yeah,
But
it was a one record deal.
But you can say we got dropped.
Yeah.
And I've heard that we owe money, but good luck getting that. And then things kind of. Brent obviously was super busy after that.
Yeah.
Mastodon dudes. I was living very much a nomadic
Lifestyle.
life,
Yeah.
based in New York, but also I work in television, so I was living on the beach in San Diego for a while. I was back and forth from New York to Philadelphia.
Just freelancing gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Brian and I worked together and built studios at NBC.
Nice.
But that was great too, because Brian and I have been playing together.
It's always good to make some money.
Yeah.
Especially
You
when
got
you're working with your friend. Is
Well, the other thing you realize is there's no money really in music anymore.
Yeah.
And you have friends who
Yeah.
you think.
Because we're going into that digital era now.
Yeah, so no
You
one's
know,
making
no,
money.
no more buying CDs,
No
selling
one's making money
CDs.
off royalties,
Yeah.
really. Yeah. It's only shows,
Right.
And
Yeah.
good luck with a 7 or 8 piece band
Right.
making money. Yeah.
So y'all had 70 people in
Yeah.
West End Motel.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Sometimes more than that.
Yeah.
Because we loved it. You
Yeah.
know, like, oh, we got Ben Davis down on saxophone, and Brent's like, I want to get 3 backup singers. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's 2 church bands.
Yeah.
You know? So,
And when you have a band like that, I feel like it's so difficult to collaborate with everybody because, I mean, 8 people, that's 8 individual lives, 8 individual personalities, 8 different.
8 dysfunctional guys who can't answer a text saying, I could play this show
Right.
in 2 months.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I'm like, I love you guys, but seriously, just say yes or no.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the date.
Yeah.
You know, like that. You
Yeah.
know. But
So,
magical things happen. Like,
Yeah.
so B. Kinch and I have been friends forever. Like Mike Sheena, he was busy with his personal life, so he kind of stopped playing for a while. Then B. Kinch and I were working and living together in San Diego doing television work. So it was a natural thing. I was like, why don't you? So he wanted me to do the solo record. And I was like, insecure about it.
Yeah.
And it wound up turning into the next Western Motel record, and Brian produced it. He and I wrote a bunch of the songs. We flew to San Francisco, went and hung out with Brent, and we traveled to LA and San Diego driving,
Nice.
and we wrote like another record.
I think that's so cool that even though Hines was in like Mastodon, and that's a
Yeah.
big band, and I mean they were pretty successful. That he still didn't forget about his good
Oh,
days.
yeah.
Still y'all
Well, I
work
mean-
together.
Yeah, I always said it's pretty funny that he's in like one of the biggest, metal bands, and they'll still play in front of, just a few people or friends for a funeral or for a charity to help.
Yeah.
Them. So yeah, shout out, love you, brother. I mean, and we had these fun times writing stuff, so like that turned into that. For Brian really was very instrumental in helping that, and that wound up being the last record. Bad with Names, Good with Faces, where we had to basically form our own label and put it out. And actually, that record did really well.
Nice.
And we sold out all the vinyl with
Good.
we do.
Yeah.
So
We
we get
have a record label to distribute the vinyl.
we
Just did it out of
we
pocket.
did. Well, we had our buddy Gavin, who has Stick Figure Distribution in the West End.
Nice.
He helped us with some of it, but most of it was.
How many vinyls did y'all make?
Good question.
Gotta highlight Gavin.
Yeah. But I do believe it's sold out, so we need
Yeah.
to repress that, and we do want to repress
Yeah.
the other stuff.
That's some very interesting stories, man. Like I feel like y'all could make like a documentary about all y'all stories. Because,
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, but like you have, so many other people that's
Yeah.
involved in it.
And a lot of crazy, funny things that I'm not going to get into right now.
Please do. Please do.
Like just like insanity and people crying, people pulling each other's hair out.
Yeah.
And
Y'all had any fights in the band?
not me. But definitely saw some and broke a few up.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, like the older I get, I realize that
I'm more of a peacemaker.
yeah, I
myself.
mean, I've been trying to live like a Buddhist for
Yeah.
now almost 10 years, and
Yeah.
I'm probably the world's worst Buddhist. But I try. Well, like my assistant says,
Yeah.
she says, Well, that's the best thing about Buddhism is they forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Christianity
yeah,
too.
I mean, listen, yeah.
They
I know,
judge you, but
as I'm wearing a Puerto Rican cross on my wrist, I mean, because we need all the help, and I got some saints on my chest. And we need all the help we can get, you know. But overall, it's nothing but love, and I feel like again so lucky, you know, like I said, throwing Ben, throwing like Sheena B. Kinch, like when now when people interview me or talk to me, they go, "This is something I hear about you. That you basically, no matter what band it is, the Wolves, Red Boys, your solo band, whatever, you basically been playing with your best friends for 30 years."
That's really great.
I know that is true.
That's really great because throughout lives, and especially in bands, a lot of bands break up. They start hating each other.
Right.
You know, they go through so many things. You know, kids, wives. You know, people move and everything, and it's so good to hold that like glue. You know, whether it's the bands or it's just the music or it's just the art, like we just want to create, we just want to hang out, and you know, you guys make something magical. You know,
it is magical, and that's a really good point too. It's like because you've heard this so much, and I mean, you work in broadcasting, and I know you've hosted a bunch of different shows before, so you're so much not a stranger to this, but like film, television, news. Arts, books, music. I mean, it really isn't that big. It's a small world, and everyone knows, you know. And so when
and if you're a cool person, like people will collaborate with you, no problem. Like you could not see somebody for 10 years, and they'll still put your name to like, oh, that's a good guy. Hire him, put him in this, put him in that. You know.
I've been very, very lucky, and I'm constantly just even meeting new guys, and I appreciate it. And you know, my dad always used to say when I was a little boy, "It's nice to be nice," and it's so simple, but it
that's
really
a good one. It's nice to be nice.
And when you think about like bands breaking up, it really is like marriage. Yeah. It's rough, it's emotional, and not everyone. Well, one person might have been good and move on.
Yeah.
The other person might not be for a while, and that's where that temperament or Buddhism or Zen, whatever you want to call it, Christ-like behavior. That's when, like, man, it's never healthy to let someone live rent-free in your head. Yeah. So that's when you're like, gotta be this.
Yeah. Be like neutral.
That's it.
You know.
Tranquilo.
Yeah.
You know. And
the best thing I try to do personally is try to think it from his perspective, not from mine, not my own ego, not my own like ideology or whatever. You know, I try to think of from the other person's perspective.
When you're in any form of therapy, which I have been a few times, and I'm proud because sometimes there's been a few times it's helped me. They teach you that it's like, and the last thing we should do is project and deflect and like attack someone with like, you did this to me. It's more like think about it and try to think about the other person you went through to make that happen. Because for every action there is this reaction, you know. And so again, I feel so lucky. We're rich, and this is this conversation, and we're rich just having this conversation right now. And I feel
it's enlightening.
It's very enlightening, and because of that, I've worked with so many different people. I've helped people write songs. I've done so many different art collaborations.
And it's therapeutic as well.
It's another form of therapy.
Right.
Yeah, if you allow it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's move forward into how did you start Tom Cheshire Band?
Mm-hmm.
Bring me, because I know like you were in the pandemic.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, funny we say for every action there's a reaction. It certainly was a reaction to what was going on.
Right.
So one thing was like New York was a mess, and
New York was nuts.
Yeah, I moved back to New York in like end of 2011, early 2012, and been there, and so it was really the only time, like in our lifetime, that we were just unsure what was going on next day. So my family here were like, "You need to get out of there and just come to Atlanta." And so I did, and then my parents were old. I was looking after them. And my mom got deathly ill. There were so many things, and as artists, you need to do things. You need to stay busy. You need to create. We have this like ADD, you know, personalities, you know, and so I was trying to figure out what to do. And it's funny how, life hands you lemons, you
Yeah.
make that lemonade. So what happened was I started doing these live streams with some of my best friends I hadn't done
Just
stuff.
during the pandemic.
Yeah, like B. Kinch and like Mike Sheena.
Yeah.
And so I started performing under the name TCB, which was an idea I had already. I was like, wait a minute, my name is Tom Cheshire. Why not Tom Cheshire Band? Why not our projects, Tom Cheshire Brand? If we do videos, Tom Cheshire Broadcasting.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Tom Cheshire Business.
Tom Cheshire Business, yeah. Take care of business, Tom Cheshire Business. So we started doing these live streams, and it was so much fun. It was therapeutic, falling in love with music again.
Yeah.
And not worried about the business, just having fun.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I wrote some new songs, but then I also covered myself. So I covered a Rim Boy song, but did a whole new delivery.
Yeah.
I covered an All Night Charcoal Wolf song.
Yeah.
I did some Western Motel songs, but gave a new, fresh twist. Did Penalty from Western Motel joined, and so we just had fun with it. And that's when we kind of connected with you guys. Did the video for I Can't Hold On.
Yeah, because I was thinking Tom Cheshire Band is so much more different than the Rent Boys and West End Motel.
Yeah.
Tom Cheshire Band, to me personally, it's kind of I call it like front porch music.
Yeah, she's very strict,
Yeah, so and it's very like folk, blues, very soulful. It's just one of those like albums that you could just play and just hang around. It's like sit on the front porch, just let the music play. Enjoy the view, whatever's going on in life.
Well, thank you. And that actually was an accident, like you call it, a pretty accident, but it was also intentional because you realize not everyone wants to record and get together during a pandemic.
Right.
So I was like, wait a minute.
Well,
instead of a drum, I'm going to bang on this wooden box.
Yeah.
And all we need is 2 guitar players.
Yeah.
And then Ben Davis, we won't be here, but can you come in tomorrow and just do a sax line?
Right.
But it was also like everyone was being very good at being communicative.
That's good. And that's the big difference between the 8 circle and the 3-person.
Right. And the other thing that was lovely was, we're too old for this to have the egos. So so it could be 4 guys or 5 guys, or it could be just me and one guy. Brian and I did some shows, and I'm playing, this wooden box, and he's playing guitar and singing. Or Mike and I was building a TV studio in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Mike came to Arkansas, and we performed, and performed as a 2-piece. And it's kind of like what my original idea was for West End, but that didn't happen. It grew. Yeah. But I was like, wait a minute. I love this. I want to make a lot of noise with 2 people, and that's kind of grown as well because I've graduated from the wood box and now I'm playing small drum, and it's fun because the other thing is, and I know you believe this because you're a fan. At the end of the day, most people you're a fan.
Yeah, honestly, that's the only reason I do this because I love music and I just like I like hearing people's music.
So we know there's good hip hop and there's shit up. There's good metal, there's bad metal, like that. So my thinking,
but it's all in
so my thinking was a good song. There's a good song. So write the good songs and deliver them 5 different ways. You know what I mean? Like stripped down or not. Or with big bands. And so TCB wound up becoming this. It was also letting me, I guess you could say, in a small way, try to stay relevant and maybe reinvent myself a little bit.
Right. Definitely.
Which has been great.
I think it was great. And I feel like throughout all the years that you've been, I'm not even going to say years, through decades, that you've been doing music, I feel like it's an involvement, evolution. You evolve through like all your music, through everything that you go through live, and I feel like this record, Tom Cheshire Band album, everything is new again.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So, it's that's a lyric in the song New York Waltz, And
That's the name of the album too, though, right?
Everything is new again. Yes,
Yeah.
It's and it really was because we had new songs and we were reinventing these old songs.
Yeah. You kind of reinvent yourself as a person too.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that song, I wrote it on the piano.
What song are you talking about?
New York Waltz.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know when I was in New York. Mike Sheena did a version of it, and then our friend Eric Thrice. Who is a great friend, he did this piece of art, and Mike bought a painting of his and put out the song like unbeknownst to me, using his art. There was so many connections,
without no bother to you. You're like, go ahead, do what you gotta do.
And then so we redid it. We did it as a duet with me and him singing, and it was great because I was telling somebody not so long ago. I got to play that song for my mom before she passed away, and said I took a train to New York City, everything was new again, and like that morning in September, can you remember when? And I played it for my mom, and it's like right before she passed away, and she said, she goes, oh, it sounds like a winter night in Greenwich Village at a bar at a fireman's funeral.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
Goosebumps.
I'm like, pretty much that's what I was thinking. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want a song to tell a story.
Right.
And I was singing about my life falling apart, but it's all the same. It's about everything is new again and there's hope.
Yeah.
And the chorus is good to be home again. So it's about going full circle.
So tell me about the backstory of I Can't Hold On.
Yeah.
The one that you did for the Now Dig This TV show.
I love
So
that.
I feel like that song was very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And one line that always stays in the back of my mind is, hold on, let me get it right. I want to, dang, I'll laugh what she made.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to cry, but she started to laugh. So that was always.
It's a rough one.
Yeah,
I wrote that.
That is a rough one, but it's so organic and so true, because not a lot of men pour their heart out.
She said she'd be back, but I'm smarter than that. With blood on my plate and a side of fat.
Yeah.
It's a heavy. I wrote that September 12th, 2012. At least the rough idea of it, and then me and my good friend Andrew McLaughlin did a demo of it. And then it finally saw the light during the pandemic. And there she stood. There I stood in a puddle of glass, like literally, I'm just cut and bleeding and crying.
So great lyrics.
Oh, thank you so
Great
much.
lyrics.
I do. I love.
Did you go through a bad breakup or anything during that?
It was right after my. It's right after my divorce, and instead of, I technically. Well, physically ran away. I moved back to New York because I didn't want to answer questions from people and stuff. Yeah. But I did embrace the solemnness to it, and I embraced, the heartbreak, and I wrote 50 songs, and that some of them are still demo that I need to put out. But that one, kind of just they say the best songs write themselves.
Yeah.
And we were,
that's a very, very deep song,
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, you guys always make me so happy with that. But no, even the demo of it, which I'll send to you, we were recording, we were drinking beers in this warehouse in Brooklyn, and it was freezing. So it was already so if I wrote in September, maybe we did the demo in October, November, and it was freezing in New York. It's so cold that we had this fake furnace, we were throwing pieces of wood and beer cans in it to get warm. Yeah. We're drinking beers and we're recording. And I kept on hearing this noise. What is this noise? Whatever. And it was this rodent. It was a rat going back and forth. It couldn't get out. So it was right back. It was right back.
You just made me picture it, an old furnace. You just always crap in there.
And in the beginning of
that's New York.
Yeah. In the beginning of the demo.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you later.
Yeah.
You hear my friend Andrew McLaughlin, love you, Andrew. He goes, this freaking rat is driving me nuts. And it's just, and then the song starts like this. And it's like, what can I say? I guess we fell out of tune. My heart hit the floor when you entered the room, and there I stood in a puddle of glass. I wanted to cry, but she started to laugh.
Right.
And honey, I can't hold on, and But I do believe that. I think Dylan has said that, and probably most of the greats have said that. You actually really don't know where it comes from. It comes from out of the ether, or it enters your thoughts or your conscience, your subconsciousness, in your sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
But literally, it kind of just wrote itself and did it. Because the demo to the version we did for you is basically the same.
Yeah. I mean, I love the whole album. I mean, you came on to Now Dig This as that song is a solo, and you came on to Now Dig This before you even had the album out.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
so you were gearing up to release the album.
Yeah.
And then when you release the album, I listened to the album. The album is amazing, and it's one of those albums that, you know, your skin starts crawling. You get goosebumps because it's so organic and it's so honest. And,
Thank you so much.
you know, it really brings the soul out of you alive. You know.
I mean, that's the kind of thing, and I have about 4 or 5 new songs for another record, so I'm excited about that. That I love, that I want to do, you know. But like, you know, the thing is like, what I try to do when I'm writing is, one, you want to, I mean, that's a home run, connecting with somebody,
Yeah.
you know. And the other thing is like, there's pretty basic rules you can go by, like, maybe don't say things that will make the song like dated.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you know, you wouldn't say in a song, I texted you all night, you never returned, and
Right.
you never texted me back, or I sent you an email. But you could say, my heart's broken and I waited by the phone, because phones have been around 100 years.
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of simple thing. Like, I'm a big fan of having that poetry be in motion,
Right.
and you don't know if it was written in 1940 or 2020.
Today.
Yeah.
I like that. So when you write, you don't really think about it as like today, right now.
No.
You think about it as more elaborate. And
Most
more
of the
like-
time, I write it as, you know, it's very, of course, like it's a self-autobiography, I guess, you know, in so many ways. But then again, we're artists, so we embellish and we
Yeah, you have to
make
be.
it understand. But I'll write it as the innocence of a child,
Yeah.
you know, crying.
You write more like a poem, like
that's it.
poetry.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a lot of songs. Like the song "Not Messing Around" was originally called "I Almost Felt Her Breathing," and that came out on the last Western Motel album. That was a straight-up poem that I wrote on, I think, the back of a pizza box or a bar napkin in New
It
Orleans.
just came to you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, and those are some of my favorites as well, because as you deliver them, you kind of hear that, you know, natural, some, you know, an A minor keys, or you know, this is areas would be G, or you know, G going into E, which is a lot higher, right? But you deliver it and you hear maybe the natural percussion anyway. So
Right.
you're like, you know, she left me a note filled with promises and kisses. I put on a coat because I already missed her. You know, and it's like, you know, why not play it like that?
Well, speaking of instruments, what is the instruments like? Okay, so you sit on this, like, it's like a box.
Yeah.
You know, I want to call it a big boom box, but it's kind of like, it's a drum.
It is a drum.
What is it called?
It is a drum, and I think it's called the cajon.
Cajon.
And I believe a guy made
Is
it.
that Puerto Rican?
I want to say Spain.
Spain. Okay.
But it's, I believe he.
Well, it's pretty loud. when you
It's
do
very
it.
loud. Yeah, it's very. I believe a gentleman in Spain created it, but I could be wrong. But my friend Mako, I was helping him with a record, and he's like, I don't have much money, but I could send you some things because I'm sponsored.
Yeah.
And he gave me very cool that he sent me a melodica, and he sent me that, and I'm like, what is this? And I started looking it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like a spana.
Yeah. And then you got it.
And you're like, this sounds here,
Yeah.
but down here somewhere. It came from.
Ah,
And I just kind of told myself how to play it, probably wrong.
all right. But it sounds good.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it sounds good. And then, like, with you sitting on it, it's like your storytelling.
It's a different performance.
Yeah,
It's
like
a
your
different
story.
delivery. And the thing is, it's like, you know, very cool thing to hear about, like on the TCB, Everything Is New Again record. You know, people are like, yeah, who's playing the drums? I'm like, that's me. I'm Old Bob
Yeah.
and Arno drums.
That's
like,
cool.
That's the percussion.
You know, when I see you doing like live performances, I see you painting your face with like some white paint
Yeah.
sometimes. So what is the story behind the white paint?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Again, shout out to Andrew. He loves Bob Dylan, and so I was also watching a lot of Bob Dylan footage, and I know
Bob Dylan used to do that?
Yeah, he did it a lot.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
back in
that.
the day. And I think it was going back to just trying to reinvent
Yeah.
myself. And and turn it into, well, don't look at Tom.
Yeah.
Well, also it was around the pandemic, so someone's out of a mask on, and then I paid whatever. And I'm like, well, actually, let me just make myself look like someone completely different.
Because it looks more like, I always compare you to like Phantom of the Opera type of thing, you know, where you're like performing as a performer, not as just as a musician, but just actually like as a performer. So you have the white mask on, then you're like this, and then you like, you know, you captivate the audience.
Well, the thing is when you put on a mask, or even just covering your eyes, sunglasses, or a hood, or painting your face, you're allowing yourself another freedom to not be you. Yeah. And
you become the artist.
It's very free. Yeah. Like, I mean, actually, I really enjoy wearing paint on my face. You know, it's very much like a whole, it's a whole new level of me figuring myself out, and that evolution evolving. Yeah. So I love it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it puts a personality to you, and then when you perform, a lot of times your band members wear like this, like a reflective mirror mask.
Yeah, I think everyone was down with when we, you know, again, the pandemic was happening. A lot of times we'd be playing with masks on anyway, and we were like, well, let's curate this and turn it into an art performance.
Yeah. And that's what it turned into. And I really appreciate that. I very like it, because it's nothing like what anybody else is doing.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I could watch 100 bands perform up and down Moreland Ave, and I'll throw over Atlanta, and nobody is putting together a performance musical piece like you guys are doing.
Right.
You know? So that's why I always like appreciate and talk about you guys, because it's different. It's not just like you're wearing like ripped up jeans and a vest and a band shirt and just performing. It's just it brings on that, you know, you're in a theater feel.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and those first few performances, while we were still trying to figure it out, like Sheena and B. Kitchen's Tip Penalty, like we're like, oh, this mask works, but this mask, I'm sweating, or I can't see anything. And the only one we gave complete freedom to was Ben Davis when he get on stage with saxophone, because he couldn't have a mask on. But other than that, I think it was like a freeing, newfound freedom for everyone to be like, let your free flags fly and just do whatever you want to do, which was lovely. You know, and so, and we're still every day. I mean, I'm a work in progress as I sit here. Right. So like, it's continuing. The evolving is continuing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So what's next up for Tom Cheshire?
You know, we were in Puerto Rico for a couple of years, and we're back in town.
Are you guys recording?
In Atlanta for a while, writing, demoing a bunch of stuff, and reconnecting with best friends, reconnecting with people that I adore, who I didn't see regularly for a while. So I'm really loving that. And writing, painting, working on some ideas.
What kind of painting do you do? You do it on canvas, or you just...
mostly found things, like canvases, old canvases that were painted over, cardboard, wood, metals.
Yeah, what do you do with these paintings?
I've sold a bunch.
Oh, nice.
The goal was...
Is this someone like eBay or something?
I just mainly post my stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and they all pretty much sell. I mean, I sell a good amount in my studio here, but some of them I keep to give to loved ones, which I need to next time come here bring. I have some.
I mean, this whole place is like an art museum, man.
But we're going to bring some here. Next time we'll come here and we'll put. That's what we do too. We go to people's homes who want it, and you spend the day with you. What record do you want to hear? And hang out with them and install the stuff in their home, and it's a positive
that's cool.
Mental session. You know, working on some ideas for commercials with my friend Cash Barnes, short films, writing always. I mean, literally, I came here with my bag. Constantly napkins and cardboard and writing every day.
He did come in here with like a school bag.
I know.
Like he was about to go to school.
15 minutes early. I love because rock and rollers can have such a bad,
being late.
3 hours late. Literally, I left the house and I was like, because also Atlanta, we know, is a shit show for traffic. And so I told Dee, she was like, "You're leaving at 12." I was like, I'll get to that side of town, and I'll get a cup of coffee, no problem like that, you know. And I did. I got it. It's great.
Yeah. I'm actually happy you came early. We got a chance to
This has been a slice of heaven. Everyone, subscribe, check out. Now did this. I'm genuinely a huge fan, and I love doing what you're doing. And
Thank you, sir.
And you know, I'm also good friends with, you know, I know Randy collaborates with you as well.
So you did some records. What's
So
your
Randy, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Randy and I have been fond of each other for so long as friends, but also musicians.
Right.
And I bumped into him, I think, beginning of the pandemic. I was with my dad, and we just started chatting. He was like, "I'll come to the show," whatever. And we always just see each other. He's like, "We need to work together," whatever. And he was at one of the first, I think it was the first show I did during the pandemic at the Earl in East M.A.D Village. And he heard the song New York Waltz.
Yeah.
And literally he's outside in the back smoking a cigarette. He waited for me. He's like, "What the hell?" It's like, Tom, I had a tear.
Yeah.
He goes, "I'll record that song for free."
Yeah.
And so that's actually what gave me the spark to do the record.
Right.
And so we went in there, recorded it, and he was like, "I really love it, and I think you have a lot to say." And I was like, "Well, I want to do these new songs, and I want to reimagine and revisit these old songs." He's like, "I love it." He's like, "I'll give you a deal on this much per song, whatever." And so shout out to Randy Michael, South City Radio. He was very instrumental in, I wouldn't even be maybe sitting here as TCB without him.
I'll be honest, you weren't even on my radar until like, so we were just starting to now do this TV show. We just started getting things going all over again. And I was like, "Hey, I was talking to Randy. I was like, "Hey, can you come over here and do something like that?" He was like, "No, I can't. I'm working on Tom Cheshire band's record." And I was like, "Who's Tom Cheshire?" You know,
That's what I said.
and he sent me some pre-demos and sing. I was like, "Oh man, this stuff is amazing." You know?
Well, he even played on some of it.
Yeah. So then come full circle. You guys came on a TV show, did an amazing performance. And one thing I like about doing Now Do This is like we have various artists, you know, it's like punk rock, metal, groovy, Brit music, you know, folk music, blues and everything, because we try to bring just good instrumental live music to
that night was great. The Dusty Blues song. I mean, old friends were on that we connected with, but also met some new friends. You know, I'm old friends with Adrian. He was hysterical. You know, and we had such a good time.
So that's the whole thing that we try to do with Now Do This is, you know, besides connecting artists and putting artists in the front, you know, try to push them out and brand them out a little bit more. We try to get everybody engaged, you know, like let's all collaborate. Let's all try to work together.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing. I'm a huge fan of, you know, a conglomerate and you know, whether an umbrella having, you know, 7 different, or you wearing 8 hats, because you're creating a camaraderie and a brotherhood and a sisterhood and a community.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do as well. So whether it's just making paintings that have destroyed hearts, or the saying, "Don't waste my heartbeats," or things saying, "Yo, I know life's rough, but try to choose awesome," or writing a poem on a piece of wood and giving it to somebody, or writing a song. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this conversation is art.
I like how everything like links to each other.
That's it.
You know, like let's say you do a painting for somebody, and then 10 years, 20 years down the line, I go to their house, I see a painting on the wall, like, "Oh, Tom Cheshire did that." I was like, "Oh, I know Tom." You know, like it's such a good, like, close knit community of music, art, theater, performances.
Yeah, it's, and the other thing is this, you know, there's certain things you can't escape from. So, like, you know, people don't buy, let's say, you know, physical copies of records as much anymore. So it's like, that's why I want to start doing a lot of short films, videos to tell the story and sell this song, or like, we live in a hashtag era.
Yeah.
So it's like every time I hashtag, and I promote Now Dig This, that's always going to be there, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's the part about like branding and marketing that like I am very aware of, because I've been like doing this industry for about 20 years, and it's always tried to, you got to appease to the masses.
Right. Yeah.
You got to try to show up with this with the ever evolution of music and marketing and branding, you also got to be an artist within yourself
100%.
to think outside of the box,
Right,
you know,
and move forward.
and move forward.
But also pay it forward. That's why I love, like, you know, the cross branding.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Western Motel just partnered with Merch Mountain. My friend Evan and I got a lot of cool merch coming out. But eventually,
When you talk about merch, are you talking about like t-shirts?
it's going to be t-shirts, hats, hoodies, jackets, koozies, stickers.
Yes.
But also it's going to be posters that have some of the TCB, the Tom Cheshire brand stuff, like Don't Wish My Heart Beats, the I Choose Awesome, and then that cross brands with Western Motel, because we have a song called Kid You Move Mountains, positive messages for kids, and then give a portion of that to kids charities to help kids buy paintbrushes, markers, crayons, and guitar strings.
Now let me tell you how my mind works. I mean, like shirts and everything has been, you know what I'm saying, like that's one thing. But like those glasses,
Yeah.
with your name, Western Motel, glasses,
Yeah,
you know.
100%. Yeah,
just
we're like we're making these Western Motel.
I was thinking about doing some now. Did this lava lamps?
Yeah, we're making. I mean, this is a no-brainer because it says Western Motel. We're making looks like a hotel keychain.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then we're getting some that have like bottle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
like
a good idea too. Some towels would be nice.
Yeah, you give your favorite bartender this thing, and they always have that.
Yeah.
And because.
But that's what I think is the beautiful things about an artist is you think outside of the box. You gotta think outside the box because as artists, you know, everybody wants to get big no matter what, you know. But if you start small, if you start in the community, and you brand yourself properly, you know, your name,
Right.
you know, will expand without you even knowing it.
Consistency, good quality, good product, and perseverance goes a long way. Like
I always say, persistence proves.
It's true. I mean, I've been very lucky. I mean, the other night I got asked to sing thank you, Tom Byers, Bruce Joyner, who was an artist who lived in Atlanta, but he lived in LA. He also performed in Paris in the 80s, and I think has hundreds of songs. And he passed away earlier this year, and I got asked to sing at his celebration of life, and I was honored and humbled. And I'm meeting people there. Yeah, I'm meeting people there.
Yeah.
But some of them knew me already from my music, and I'm like, man, I'm rich from this, and I'm so lucky from this, and I'm going to continue with this.
Okay.
And just yesterday, Tom reached out to me. He goes, "We're going to do a Bruce Joyner tribute album. I'd love for you to be on it." I said, "You got it." You know, so it's those small things that add up. That if you continue, persistence proves, and consistency, and consistently putting out good product. Don't do anything half-assed, and believe in it, and also. Being nice to people.
Yeah.
Be nice to people.
What would you about say?
It's nice to be nice.
It's nice to be nice. I love that.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it's like, you know.
I personally rather be nice and cordial with people and try to understand because I'm not a hater at all. Like, okay, whatever, you don't like me, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I still love you.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, unfortunately, narcissistic behavior, someone's not going to notice this, but like, reality is if I don't like you, you're going to figure out that I'm probably not trying to hang out with you. But if you stop to look, you'd be like, "Oh, he never texts me, this, now, whatever." There's probably a reason why, whatever, you know. So I'm very lucky. I only hang out with people that I love and love you guys, you know, but like, that we believe in each other, we build each other up, we pick each other up off the floor when we're down, we're there for each other when there's heartbreak, and also kind of push each other in uncharted waters and say, "Yo, I believe in you, you got this."
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So let's end this. It's nice to be nice. You know, that should be a word for everybody out there. Let's all come together.
Yeah.
It is a lot better to be closer together, you know? So it's nice to be nice. Tom Cheshire, everybody. My name is M.A.D Max. You are watching Now Dig This. Thank you for watching. Good job, man.
Woo! Man, thank you so much. I mean, we were like jazz musicians for a minute.